Let's turn to another corporate story we're watching. Disney scrapping plans to build its nearly $1 billion office complex in Florida. It announced the news of its canceled plans on Thursday, citing, quote, new leadership and changing business conditions. Wonder what that can mean. This comes as the company is also openly feuding with the state's governor, Ron DeSantis. Joining us now is Ali Knau to discuss this more. So this is really kind of heating up, right? It sort of felt it had gotten quiet, but this is not going away.
It's not going away. Now, Disney didn't specifically say that Governor DeSantis was the reason for these plans, but you can surmise that the ongoing feud had something to do with it. In an internal memo obtained by Yahoo Finance, Josh D'Amaro, who chairs the Parks, Experience, and Product Division, told employees that the company would be stopping the construction of this employee campus in the Lake Nona region of Florida. Now, along with that construction stoppage, that also means plans to relocate 2,000 California-based Disney employees are no longer. Now, it's a shame because a lot of those employees did end up leaving the company because they didn't want to relocate. Now these plans are just going all over the place. The relocation plans, they were first announced in July 2021 under the leadership of then CEO Bob Chapek. The campus was supposed to open between 2022, 2023. That was then delayed to 2026. And now we got the news that it's just not happening. Now, the Office of the Governor did eventually respond to me for comment on this. They said that Disney announced the possibility of a Lake Nona campus nearly 2 years ago. Nothing ever came of the project, and the state was unsure whether it would come to fruition. Given the company's financial straits, failing market cap, and declining stock price, it is unsurprising that they would restructure their business operations and cancel unsuccessful ventures. So fighting words there from the Office of the Governor as they are in the midst of feuding complaints and lawsuits, and the drama continues.
Yeah, absolutely. So for investors trying to make sense of multiple headlines that surround Disney on a daily basis, there's also the ESPN announcement too. What is the way to look at how Disney is kind of moving these parts around, whether it be in where the employees are going to be at or where certain assets that they've already said are going to be kind of their own standalone internal entity are now looking at being offered to the public as well?
Well, I think from an investor perspective, these fights with the governor, that's not really moving the stock too much. We took a look at the stock yesterday. It was relatively flat. Now today, it's down on the day, down about 2% right now. And, we've heard from analysts, McGuire out with a new note this morning, downgrading Disney shares from outperform to neutral, seeing those near-term uncertainties as a risk for Disney's future. Now that includes those linear networks deteriorating. You mentioned ESPN. There was a Wall Street Journal report that there are talks about moving ESPN fully over the top. That's something we've heard from Bob Iger. We don't know what the timeline could be on that, but that's another question mark for investors. So I think it's more of these fundamental issues of the company. If we were to see this fight with the governor materially impact the parks business or Walt Disney World specifically and their earnings, I think that's something that could move the stock. But in terms of this fight in particular, that's one element here that I think shareholders are shrugging off, at least for now. That's not to say down the line it couldn't be, more impactful to Disney's bottom line.
Yeah, I'm just saying now, actually, Macquarie has downgraded the stock this morning. So maybe that is also helping push things down. That has to do with all of these uncertainties that are ongoing. It doesn't seem to have to do with what's going on in Florida,
right?
To your point. But even still, some other stuff. There's plenty for it to contend with, I guess, is what I'm saying. Even if you exempt all of the Florida stuff here.
Exactly. And Disney, look, they're in the midst of restructuring their business. They're in the midst of trying to pare down on their content as well. They're going to take a content impairment charge of $1.5 to $1.8 billion as they look to scrap certain series and specials from both Disney Plus and Hulu. That's something they announced on their latest earnings call. And again, this is something that we're seeing across the board as a lot of these media giants are really trying to grapple with profitability and be number one in the streaming wars while also making money. So it's that push and pull. How do we create value for both our shareholders as well as our customers?
Let's be real. Can we talk about the real reason that Disney is struggling right now? It's because the investors are thinking about the fact that the Sixers are no longer in the playoffs right now. That's going to impact the NBA viewership. Clearly, advertising dollars, That's the real reason.
Minus
right?
2, at least.
Minus 2.
I know that was
Minus 2 viewers.
That was a
Minus
dagger.
2.
That
Yeah.
was a dagger. And like Josh Schaefer, our business reporter, he's a Celtics fan. So,
Josh has got to go home.
I know. So I think there's a lot of internal competition within Yahoo Finance as well as Disney.
You keep bringing this up, man.
I'm hurt.
I think you want the sympathy of the people. I think that's.
You know
Listen,
what?
we got the Eagles.
Here's the thing. We're going to have Kenny Smith on later on today. Of course, former NBA player and now analyst for NBA on TNT. I'm going to ask him why the Sixers lost, because I want some.
And
I do want some
Embiid getting
sympathy.
MVP.
You want some sympathy. You want some answers. Accountability.
Yeah.
Okay.
I want answers.
Okay.
This is the serious stuff we got to talk about, you know?
Okay. Well,
I'm just hurt.
you guys can talk about that. I'm going to tell people what we're going to talk about on air now.